Good Wednesday afternoon, everyone. I'm meteorologist Brad Maushart here from the Fox 19 Streaming Center with another wonderful news weather update here for the weather show at noon. It's not too bad. I know it looks drizzly, dreary out there, but just bear with me for a second on your Wednesday. It will get better by this afternoon. In fact, the drying out line of the back end, basically of these showers, if I could talk at noon, would be great, is just now approaching the western half of Ripley County back in southeast Indiana. The later we get in the day, the better the weather will be. I know it looks drizzly, dreary, just nasty outside, but better weather is on the way for today. And then we have to get through Thursday and Friday. This weekend, if you want another piece of good news off the top, I'll butter you up a little bit before we get into the nasty weather. This weekend looks great. Saturday, it will rain a little early in the morning, but the later we get in Saturday, just like today, it will be a nice Saturday. The rest of Saturday, Sunday, both look fantastic. Make some outdoor plans for this weekend. But before we get there, I'd be remiss if we did not talk about the severe weather threat we're going to see both Thursday and Friday. Both of these threats are going to have very similar timing. They're both going to be in the later evening hours, and then a lot of that threat will carry on into the early overnight hours. So Thursday night into early Friday. We'll see another round Friday evening into early Saturday before we dry back out and enjoy the nice weekend. So timing-wise, both very similar. The Friday threat might be a little bit closer to dinner time. Again, still some uncertainty there. Some models have the rain and storms arriving as early as 6:30. Others are later on in the night, about 10 to 11 o'clock. So that's a wide window. I don't want to hand down, any specific timing for that just yet until we get that hammered out. But for right now, I think the Friday threat could be a little bit, one, more widespread, but also two, could be a little earlier in the evening. All threats with this will be possible. Both Thursday and Friday tornadoes are a possibility. The Thursday threat, I think the tornado threat's a little bit higher if we see storms develop at all. And that's still kind of an uncertainty because the atmosphere is going to try to be capped. I have an explainer coming up, a little soda bottle analogy that might make it a little easier to understand what an atmospheric cap is. It's going to try to hold down our storm chances on Thursday. It's not going to hold down the intensity, but it's going to hold down the coverage. A lot of our storms around here, just like today, what we're seeing outside, they're fairly widespread. They're kind of a mess. The cap, what that does, it helps to inhibit the storm growth and potential. So once you break through the cap, though, if you have a storm or two that will do that, those storms become rather volatile rather quickly. That's what we'll have through the day Thursday. So lesser storms overall. Less people will see the storms, but those that see them, they're rather violent. So we'll keep an eye on that Thursday. Friday, I think there's not much of a cap out there at all, so that means that Friday storms are going to be fairly widespread. Again, doesn't mean they'll be any less severe, but more people will likely see that rainfall on Friday. All the same threats. Damaging wind in excess of 60 miles an hour possible. Hail, especially with the Thursday storms, could be on the large side. Can't rule out some flash flooding for Friday if those storms stick around a little longer. Entire tri-state is under a risk at some point, either one of the 2 days, be it a marginal or a slight risk. So something to keep an eye on. Here's a look downtown right now. I told you, bear with me here. This looks awful. It will get better as the day goes on. If you have plans to head down to the Reds game tonight, it's Pete Rose night down at the ballpark, 5:14. That first pitch is at 7:14. So 14, obviously, Pete Rose's number. So that will be great. The weather will be great outside tonight for that. Don't worry. I know it looks like a mess right now. We're at 64 degrees just off of the west and central Indiana. Some spots have already worked their way into the 70s with some sunshine. That's where we'll get by this afternoon. Dew points, yeah, it's muggy outside because the rain is there, and it has been the last couple of days, right? This past weekend was fantastic. We had no issues outside. It was a beautiful weekend. The humidity rose Monday and Tuesday. That's why we saw that lousy low there off to our southwest, giving us the storm chances yesterday, the day before. Today we're seeing the storm chances. Look what happens to that dew point trend. Dew point is a measure of moisture in the air. When it climbs like it is, I guess that's just not going to work today. That's all right. When it climbs like it does there, to very humid, almost tropical levels, similar to what we see in the summertime, that is thunderstorm fuel. Storms love moisture. Storms also love heat, and temperatures tomorrow are going to surge into the low to mid 80s outside. That is ample fuel for a strong to severe storm threat. So after this, like I said, the weekend looks good. You could just take a peek ahead there. We don't have much humidity to worry about once we hit Saturday and Sunday. But again, a little bit of a mess to get through before we enjoy the weekend. You can tell it's raining outside. Temperatures are in the mid-60s, where we're seeing sunshine just off to our southwest. Madison, Indiana, up to 70 degrees. Bloomington, 75, almost the 80s already in Terre Haute and Evansville, with a few hours of daytime heating to go. That warm wave will sweep our direction tomorrow. And like I said, most spots today, I don't think we have a problem getting up to the mid-70s. We just have to get rid of the rain and cloud cover first, and that's it. What you're seeing right now on the radar is it. That is what we have for the rest of the day. When it's out of here, it is done. So Ripley County, you're drying out. Decatur County back in Greensburg, you're drying out. This line will take until about 1 to 2 o'clock here on the west side of downtown, 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock around the heart of downtown. And then our easternmost communities by 5 to 6 o'clock will dry out. So we're talking, portions of Clinton, Adams, Highlands counties, all the way down to Lewis County. You'll be drying out later on today, too. And everybody sees some sunshine before the day is up. That line where the sunshine already is peeking in is just now starting to sneak into southwestern Ripley County, southwestern Decatur County, and then it's a lot of sunshine back here to the southwest. It'll help to warm us up. That is just our latest weather maker. That's the one that's been giving us problems the last couple of days. It is now over here near D.C., It's pushing eastward. It's taking all the rain chances with it. This is just what's left of it here on the backside. We'll catch a break out here. And then our next storm system is up here in the upper Midwest. That one will be wreaking havoc, not just for us, but across much of the country, working our way into the day tomorrow. You can see the severe weather threat from the Storm Prediction Center has, if we're not under a slight risk, it's a marginal. Slight is the yellow shaded area. An enhanced risk exists up in northern Indiana. And then across Lake Michigan back into portions of Wisconsin. So we have, anywhere from Illinois to Michigan, northern Indiana, and Wisconsin under that enhanced risk. That's a 3 out of 5 on our severe weather scale. For us here in the tri-state, it is mostly a slight risk. About the northwestern half or so of the tri-state, slight risk. Everybody else under a marginal, so either a 1 or a 2 on our severe weather scale. People look at this and they're like, we have slight risks all the time. Yes. But there is a particularly volatile amount of energy the atmosphere is going to have tomorrow when you start talking mid-80s and high dew points like that. A lot of energy. It's just a matter of getting through that atmospheric cap, which, like I told you, I'm going to talk about in just a little bit. Friday, there is no cap. There is no limiter to the storm activity. So we are going to see more widespread rain and storm activity into the day Friday. That's mostly in the evening and overnight hours. Got to keep a close eye on this because they do have concerts. Zach Brown Band's in town over at TQL Stadium. Mayfest begins down over in Mainstrasse in Covington, other side of the river. A lot of stuff happens. This time of the year, it's a busy schedule, so just be prepared. Speaking of busy schedule, it is Pete Rose night over at Great American Ballpark. 74 degrees. This looks fantastic. Like I told you, this rain will be out of here by this afternoon. First pitch, mix of sun and clouds. Really just a gorgeous night. Tomorrow, not so much. Download that free. It is a free, by the way, right price. Let me hop back there and show you the screen. It is a free app. It does not get much cheaper than that. First Alert Weather app, it's nice to have this time of the year because you can keep track of the multiple rain chances. There's a radar feature you can get on there and take a look at as well. There's also a way to switch it to look at model data. So if you know where the storms have been going, you can see if those storms are going to fall apart or linger the next couple of hours. So great, you can look at the past, the future, and what's happening right now on the radar. And of course, you can always check the hourly forecast, which is controlled by us. The meteorologists here at Fox 19 have the ultimate authority here to get on here and adjust the forecast. So it's not a robot giving you these forecasts, it's humans on there. So I put these numbers in earlier today. This is what we're going to see outside tomorrow. And you can see those temperatures surging into the mid-80s. Again, that when you see summer-like heat and it feels like summer outside as you walk out the door in the morning, that is a sign this time of the year that severe weather ingredients are in place. And those severe weather threats tomorrow start to ramp up through the later evening hours and into the overnight. Just about sunset or later, that's the best timing right now I have for you. There will be a chance, too, tomorrow morning. And we'll go through various models here because we got time. I only get 3 minutes on the air. This is my on-air kind of show and hit I have going on right now. But I'll show you a couple different models of what we're thinking for tomorrow morning and the afternoon and all that. But there's a threat that we could see some storms late tonight, 3 in the morning, like through the overnight hours. 3 in the morning, 4, 5, 6, and then dry out through the morning. That's not going to be the severe threat. The severe threat both days, Thursday and Friday, going to be through the later evening into the overnight hours. So here we go. I know that shows some rain out there. I promise you we're dry after that rain pushes out. Friday morning, a few storms will try to roll on through. This is not the threat, but there is that chance early on to see some storms. Thursday night, Friday, that's when the storms push back in. Did I skip over a thing here? I think I did. Let me try this again. I've done this before, I promise. So the threat for Thursday, let me just stop this altogether. This will be a lot easier. Yeah, that's what we're doing. So let me just back this up. Thursday morning, there are the storms that rolled through Thursday morning. I knew we were off there for a second. My scene there decided to edit itself or something. That's a lie. I just didn't have it in the right spot. Early Thursday morning, chance for some rainstorms. Again, not anything severe out there as you head out the door tomorrow morning. It's through the evening hours after catching a nice break, through much of the afternoon that the storm threat starts to ramp up. As you can see, just looking at this, let me go ahead and hit the pause point here. I'm going to zoom out and show you. That storm threat is going to be much more widespread up to the north, right? We'll just keep this zoomed out a bit, and I'll try to back it up without it going back. Yeah, that was a mistake. But the storm threat's going to be much more widespread up there. You see how right over the tri-state, we're getting kind of the 7-10 split here. We have rain to the north, we have storms there to the south, and right over the heart of the tri-state, things are isolated. That is that warm layer of air, that cap aloft that's trying to hold down those storms from developing. So that's what we're going to see. And while they might not be as numerous as they're going to be seeing up in northern Ohio, down here through southwestern Kentucky, the storms that do develop will be robust. They will develop very quickly, and they will become severe rather quickly as well in most cases. So there won't be much time between, hey, we're seeing it on the radar, and boom, we're on the air with a severe thunderstorm warning or something like that. So be aware, they will be very quickly to develop when they do. This will be late Thursday night into early Friday morning. A lot of you will be in bed. Have ways to get warnings out there just in case, because these storms will be capable of producing tornadoes. Not everybody will see it, so if you don't see it, don't say the forecast was wrong. No, this is not going to be a widespread event. That changes, though, into Friday. Here we go into Friday. Then in the morning, another chance for a shower or two. Again, not severe. And by the time we hit 6, 7, 8, we catch a nice break through the afternoon, and then Friday night, again in the evening. And this is the time frame. There's still a lot of model uncertainty with timing. At the earliest, one of the models has storms getting here by 6:30, about dinner time on Friday. Some of the other models have it coming in after sunset, 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. That's important because Friday night we have that concert over at TQL Stadium. Good crowd expected for that. We have the Reds in town, obviously. We have a lot going on. Mayfest down in Covington. So if you have the outdoor plans, just be cautious. Don't cancel your plans, but be cautious. If you start to hear some thunder, you start to hear feel the winds whipping up, and you see some dark clouds on the horizon. If it's not too dark outside yet, take that seriously. Have a plan to get inside, just in case. You don't want to be stuck outside under a tent when these storms come whipping through, because they will have the potential to have some damaging wind. Don't cancel the plans. Just be cautious and have some backups in there. Friday night. So that's a Friday night into early Saturday event. And then here's the good news. By Saturday afternoon, yes, the sunshine is back. This is going to be a quick-hitting system. It's in, it's out. Saturday, we're drying out. Make some plans Saturday night. Make some plans Sunday. That looks gloomier than it is. I'm going to have to work on this color table, but it's making it look like we're going to be socked in with clouds. These are just like last Sunday, high, thin clouds. They're going to filter the sunshine. That's it. Really nice weekend, really nice Monday. Tuesday looks good. You have some opportunities here to get outside and get some of the yard work in before that next opportunity for rain dives in Wednesday of next week. All right, let's talk about the cap. I made this yesterday. We're going to see if it works. I haven't played through it completely yet, so this is a risk. So think of it like a shaken up soda bottle, right? You shake up a bottle, a pop. That's why you like that title. Why storms don't always pop. You shake up the pop bottle, right? In there, just having done this before, there's a lot of energy inside that bottle, right? You hand it to your friend. Think of it like a shaken soda bottle, right? That will be the atmosphere outside tomorrow. It's just ready to go everywhere. It's ready to explode. Get out of there and let those storms go and take off, right? So we'll have some clouds developing. You'll see that there. Looking inside the bottle, we got a little cloud trying to grow, that heat of the day, getting the storms, the clouds trying to go, but they reach this layer of warm air aloft, and think of that like the cap on the bottle, right? That warm air aloft, warm air wants to rise. When it hits another layer aloft of warmer air, typically the air gets colder the farther up you go. That's why it gets a little chilly on the plains when you're flying by sometimes. When it hits that layer of warm air aloft, those storms don't want to grow anymore. They just kind of level out. It just stops it. It holds down that's storm growth. So storms struggle to form when you have a cap aloft, or in this case, a cap on the bottle, right? So what can get that cap to erode? There are about 3 different things that can make that cap pop off or weaken. The first of that is warmer temperatures, and we have that in the forecast for tomorrow. If we can get to the mid-80s, I think our cap comes off. I think the cap starts to weaken, storms will be able to bust through that cap, and then they will take off rather quickly from there. If we have some cloud cover through the first half of Thursday that holds temperatures down and we only get into the upper 70s, that probably won't be enough to break through the cap. So that could be a reason why we don't see storms tomorrow, right? The other thing, an influx of moisture. I showed you the dew points at the top of this broadcast. We are going to see dew points, level of moisture in the air, in the 70s, upper 60s and 70s tomorrow. If we don't get that moisture, let's say we only see low to mid 60s, there's a chance we don't break through that cap tomorrow. And then, of course, a frontal passage. I'm not really expecting that until Friday, but some of the storms in the morning, if they lay out some what we call outflow boundaries. We're getting real nerdy in this one. If they lay out some outflow boundaries, for the afternoon, those storms could develop on those residual boundaries of cooler air that's just kind of sitting around. Those 3 things will help to weaken the cap a little bit and allow the storms to take off. And when that cap bursts, these storms come out very quickly. And that's what we'll see outside. Just like a shaken soda bottle. You take that cap off, they take off. That worked better than I thought it would. I really did not have much faith in my graphic making capabilities from that. So in terms of the timeline, this is both Thursday and Friday, because again, they're both going to be similar. We do have a chance for a few storms outside early tomorrow morning. They'll be out of here in most cases before you hit the morning rush. A few lingering showers. If that cloud cover doesn't clear out, might not see any storms through the evening. I wouldn't count on it, but just be aware, if we do start to sink our way, or rise rather, into the mid-80s tomorrow, which is forecasted, things are going to take off, and that'll be mostly through the evening and overnight hours. All threats being possible. Same for Friday, except I think it might come in just a little bit sooner. I'll show you some models in a second, but just in case anybody has to hop off and go back to work, I see you all watching on there. In this case, again, just stay weather aware outside. Tonight looks great for baseball. Tomorrow there is that chance, but I think it's going to be after the game's over, to be honest. I think it's going to be late Thursday night. The game probably no issues until we, see those storms popping up after, maybe for the ride home, depending on where you're coming in from. Friday, another chance for storms through the evening. Be careful of that one. I think it comes in a little sooner than what we're going to see outside on Thursday. Saturday, I know there's a big rain and storm icon on there. Don't cancel your plans. Saturday looks great. It's the morning storms. We're clearing out through the afternoon, and the rest of our weekend looks fantastic. 75, we have another concert at TQL on Saturday. Lauren Daigle, I think, is in town. I might be butchering that name. Sorry. 75 outside Saturday, 73 Sunday, just a mix of clouds and high thin clouds filtering some of that sunshine. So really nice. We just have to get through a bumpy stretch. So let me see if we got any questions, comments, complaints, or suggestions. You know that we're going to be heavy on the complaints typically because it's Facebook. Thank you for that. Appreciate that. We will have we might have some crazy weather conditions tomorrow, so we'll see. Steve and I will both be here tomorrow and Friday, so we'll be here for you guys. Let's see. I'm going to go through some different models and just show you. This one that I showed you the first that I've been using all morning because I generally like it in this medium range forecast. It's one of the global models. This one's the European model. It tends to be pretty accurate. It does have that rain and storm chance in here, like I said, late Thursday night into Friday. So again, we're talking late, maybe even into the overnight hours. And then Friday, it has those storms trying to reemerge after they clear out in the morning. By as early as 9 to 10 o'clock, we'll see those storms developing. And, just depends. Let me show you the American model. Very similar. Here's Thursday morning. That's that morning threat. We stay dry through the afternoon, right? If we get more breaks in the clouds, that'll obviously allow us to warm up very quickly. And then late Thursday night, 9, 10 o'clock, storms start to try to redevelop over the area. But the greatest threat is still, by and large, if it lets me take control there, up to our north, right? More towards the heart of that lousy low. Here, it's going to be a little bit more isolated across the Ohio Valley. So that's the American model. Through this weekend, there's the Friday night threat. Again, heavy rain possible with this. This is 11 o'clock. A lot of heavy rain with this. This keeps it in town a lot longer into early Saturday and doesn't clear out most of us until we hit about midday or so Saturday. So that one, a little bit more robust with the Friday. And, you got to take a mix of all these. You have to kind of weigh your options. Some of these models have different biases. Let's find the high-res model real quick. So this one is called the HRRR. Fun model talk here. I probably put half of you to sleep on your lunch break. This is today. Again, great weather for tonight. If you're going to the Reds game, get out there and enjoy it. It'll be really nice outside for that. Mostly clear skies. Here's that morning threat I was kind of telling you about. 2, 3 in the morning, you might have a few rumbles of thunder. These will not be severe storms. This is going to be garden variety stuff, enough to make some noise, and that's just about it. More bark than bite. It'll be in here as a warm front lifts in, and then we start to catch some breaks in the clouds as early as 10:30, and that will help us to get back up to 84 degrees. I can't show you no further because that's as far as this model goes, and that's why we have kind of a mix of models we show you on here sometimes, because some are a little bit limited on just how far out they go. Here's one more model. Let's kind of back this up a little bit. There's a storm threat today. Out of here in most cases by 5, 6 o'clock in most of the tri-state. Tomorrow morning, this one kind of kills that line of storms before it moves in, which would potentially make things even worse for tomorrow evening because that keeps us drier longer, right? So little stuff spotting up here, popping up across the area in the afternoon. This is just it telling, the atmosphere is ripe at this point. That's what I get from this model as I'm looking at it. These are not actually storms trying to develop. It's just trying to say, like, it's a loaded atmosphere. It is ready to go. It's just waiting on that trigger, either the temperature to get to the right amount. They're just running into that cap aloft. That's what you're seeing here on this particular model. And then late in the evening, you'll note this model, as I kind of speeds up here a little bit, let me try to jump back. You will note this model does not show you much of anything at all, and it's really tricky to get to the right spot in this because my computer hates me. But it is very bullish on showing anything. This particular model wants to keep that cap in place with no storm development at all. I don't think that happens. I think we get in the mid-80s and we don't have a problem seeing at least a few storms. But you'll see what happens on Friday with this model. This is the one that brings it in a little sooner. And anywhere you see that magenta rain down there, Owen County, diving on in, those are very intense thunderstorms. So this is more of a damaging wind threat. It's more of a broken line with maybe some bowing segments. Again, that's what I'm getting from this particular model. That indicates to me more of a damaging wind threat into Friday evening. In and out, though, pretty quick. Unfortunately, that would come in at about 7 o'clock. That is when they're getting ready to start that Zach Brown concert. When Mayfest is under full, down there in Covington and Main Strasse, and then, of course, they have the Reds game there Friday night. So just be aware. It will not be a washout. You don't have to cancel those plans, but be very careful if you're going to be out and about Friday night, just depending on when those storms do arrive. And then, like the other models, this one clears us out for the weekend. So we'll keep an eye on some timing outside as we work our way through the next couple of days. Rainfall, it just depends on where you're at. If you get into one of those heavier downpours, you can certainly see over an inch of rain. Let's take this back a little bit. Most spots are under an inch, but some spots could certainly, if you get caught in one of the heavier downpours, see over an inch of rainfall. I wouldn't say it's a 50-50 shot of the rain and storms tomorrow. So like we mentioned, there is that cap. It will try to hold things in, but I have us at 84 degrees, and I've been looking at some of the soundings. The temperature that we pretty much have to hit to see storms develop tomorrow night, is going to be right around 80 to 82 degrees. That's kind of the magic number to get storms to fire off tomorrow night when the cap weakens just a little bit. And that cap will weaken itself just a little bit and start to erode away as we work our way towards sunset Thursday. So that's, then if we're still close to that 80-degree mark, I don't think we have a problem getting storms to go. Now, could eat my words, we could have a lot of clouds tomorrow that hold temperatures down. There's a chance that happens. The morning showers maybe linger just a little bit too long. That's why, weather's fun, right? That's why it's a joy to forecast. It's a very easy job. That's what everybody tells me. So we'll keep an eye on it. Right now, I would just bank on having some storms. And it might be after, well after. Most of Thursday really is going to be okay. It's late Thursday night into early Friday morning, and a lot of it's going to be the overnight hours. So you'll probably be in bed or at least at home anyway. Unless you're working, third shift, in which case you're going to have to be safe with that. Let's see. Anybody else here? I don't think I have anything else. Just a few other people watching out there. All right. So, and then Friday, no cap at all, and that's why those storms are just going to be more widespread on Friday. And just about everybody will see the storms out there. It's just a matter of timing because those models are still all over the place that far out, a couple days out, just narrowing down the time frame of when they arrive. So we'll have better ideas of that tomorrow. At least for Friday, and obviously we'll continue to track these strong storms for you. Again, just a little recap. Let's see what this says. That is not my graphic, so let me hop back up here to the top. I'm trying to get, that was not the one I was trying to find. Here we go, here's the timeline. So both Thursday and Friday, both similar timelines. I think the Friday thread a little bit earlier. We could see some rain and storms through the morning hours tomorrow, morning hours maybe even on Friday. Those aren't going to be severe. It's the later evening threat. Most of the afternoon, even late morning, 10, 11, 12 o'clock, all the way through 6, maybe o'clock in the evening. A lot of dry time. You can still get out there and get some, some chores taken care of. But anytime after 6, especially Friday, after that 6 o'clock time frame, all bets are off as that line of storms is going to try to push on in. And like I said, slight risk for now. We'll see if that increases in our area. I don't think it will tomorrow, but maybe Friday if the damaging wind threat goes up a bit. But anyway, I am hungry. I'm just selfish. I'm kind of hungry out there. No comments are coming in. We'll have more on this tonight. Steve will be in. I'll be in. We'll be back on the air at 3 o'clock, 3, 4, and onward into the evening. To talk more about this forecast, we'll have things, hammered down and get more of that information out to you on air. Steve will be in tonight as well on the other live stream later on this evening, I think about 7 o'clock. So you can join him then. So it's been great. We'll obviously have you covered tomorrow. Stick with us. We'll be on air, online when we need to be. When those storms pop up, even if it means I spend about 24 hours here at the station, because that's happened, not here yet, but it's happened before. It's just that time of the year, folks. We're going to call it quits for today. I'm going to go ahead and stop that. Guys have any questions? Reach out to me, Facebook. Be more than happy to answer those for you. Just shoot me a message. I'll try to get back to you. Typically, in the afternoons, I'm pretty quick with that. This weekend, another good news. Again, we do clear back out for the weekend. So just a couple bumpy days of weather to get through before we finally get to enjoy another nice weekend outside. Hopefully you get out there and enjoy once this rain clears out, and that will happen again this afternoon. We will see some sunshine today. Get out there and enjoy it, and enjoy the weather until Thursday's storms.